Your bank account isn't the real problem. Neither is your job, your education, or your circumstances. The real culprit is sitting between your ears, running the same destructive patterns that have kept you financially stuck for years. I spent 7 years believing that more income would solve my money problems, only to discover that every time I earned more, I found new ways to stay broke. The poverty mindset is like a thermostat that resets you back to struggle, no matter how much opportunity comes your way. Most people think their financial problems will disappear with their next promotion, but there's a hidden psychological mechanism that ensures you'll find new ways to stay broke no matter how much you earn. I watched this happen to a friend who doubled his income 3 times in 5 years, yet somehow always ended up with the same amount of stress about money. He'd get the raise, feel relief for a few weeks, then mysteriously find new expenses that ate up every extra dollar. Your brain operates something called identity homeostasis, an automatic system that keeps you functioning within familiar financial boundaries, even when your circumstances change dramatically. Think of it like a thermostat in your house that maintains a constant temperature. When the room gets too hot, it kicks on the air conditioning. When it gets too cold, it fires up the heat. Your financial identity works exactly the same way, constantly adjusting your behaviors to maintain your familiar level of financial struggle or success. This system actively sabotages your financial progress by creating unconscious behaviors that maintain your current financial identity. You might procrastinate on that business opportunity, undercharge for your services, or make an impulse purchase right after receiving unexpected money. These aren't character flaws or lack of willpower. They're your identity homeostasis working perfectly to keep you exactly where your subconscious mind believes you belong. 90% of people carry 3 core limiting beliefs about money from childhood. First, money is scarce and hard to come by. Second, wealthy people are greedy and corrupt. Third, financial success requires sacrificing your values or relationships. These beliefs get wired into your neural pathways during your formative years, creating automatic responses that reject wealth-building opportunities or find ways to eliminate unexpected money before it can change your financial identity. Your brain processes financial decisions differently based on these ingrained identity patterns. When someone who sees themselves as struggling encounters a wealth opportunity, their brain literally flags it as dangerous because it threatens their familiar identity. The neural pathways fire in ways that create doubt, fear, or distraction right at the moment of potential breakthrough. Consider the lottery winner phenomenon. 70% of lottery winners lose their winnings within 5 years, despite having more money than they ever imagined. Their identity homeostasis couldn't handle the massive departure from their familiar financial identity, so their subconscious mind found ways to return them to their comfort zone. They didn't lose the money through bad luck. They lost it through unconscious behaviors driven by identity homeostasis. Successful people have different neural wiring around money decisions. They've either naturally developed or deliberately programmed neural pathways that see wealth as normal and expected rather than foreign and threatening. Their identity homeostasis works to maintain abundance rather than scarcity. Your financial ceiling isn't set by external circumstances, but by your internal identity thermostat that needs to be reset. But before you can reset this thermostat, you need to understand the specific self-sabotage patterns that keep it locked in place. And there's a moment in every financial decision where your subconscious mind either accepts or rejects wealth. And most people never notice when this rejection happens. It occurs in the split second before you negotiate your salary, price your services, or decide whether to pursue an opportunity. Your brain runs a lightning-fast calculation based on your financial identity and either opens the door to abundance or slams it shut. This creates what I call the scarcity spiral, a self-fulfilling prophecy where fear of not having enough creates behaviors that ensure you won't have enough. You start checking your bank account obsessively, calculating every expense, and making decisions from a place of financial fear rather than strategic thinking. The more you focus on lack, the more your brain finds evidence of scarcity everywhere. Focusing on making more money often makes you poorer by reinforcing scarcity thinking and creating desperate energy around finances. When you operate from desperation, you accept lower paying opportunities, rush into bad deals, or make decisions that prioritize immediate cash over long-term wealth building. People can sense this desperation, and it repels the very opportunities you're trying to attract. Your social environment acts as a financial thermostat, with friends and family unconsciously pulling you back to familiar financial levels. They make comments about your expensive purchases, joke about your money obsession, or express concern that success is changing you. These interactions aren't malicious, but they create social pressure to return to your previous financial identity to maintain relationships. The exact moment your subconscious rejects abundance happens through procrastination on opportunities, undercharging for services, or making poor financial decisions when money flows in. You'll find yourself suddenly busy when it's time to follow up on a lucrative opportunity, or you'll price your services based on what you think people can afford rather than their actual value. When unexpected money arrives, you'll discover urgent expenses that consume it immediately. Here's the abundance paradox. Generous people often become wealthier because giving creates a mindset of having enough to share. When you operate from abundance, you make decisions that attract more abundance. You invest in opportunities, charge appropriately for your value, and create systems that generate wealth rather than just trading time for money. Successful people think about money as a tool for creating value and solving problems. People who struggle think about money as something they need to chase, earn, or deserve. This fundamental difference in thinking creates completely different neural pathways and behaviors around financial decisions. Most financial advice fails because it addresses symptoms rather than the underlying identity that creates financial patterns. You can learn every investment strategy and budgeting technique available, but if your identity homeostasis is set to struggle, you'll find ways to sabotage your progress. Breaking the scarcity spiral requires strategic subtraction of limiting beliefs rather than addition of more financial strategies. Now that you understand what's been sabotaging your financial success, let's explore the specific steps to reprogram these patterns. The fastest way to change your financial results isn't to learn new strategies, it's to strategically disappear the version of yourself that created your current financial reality. I learned this after spending thousands of dollars on courses and coaching programs that taught me everything except how to stop being the person who needed those programs in the first place. The identity reset protocol consists of specific daily practices that shift your identity from someone who struggles with money to someone who naturally creates wealth. These aren't affirmations or visualization exercises, they're behavioral changes that rewire your neural pathways at the deepest level, creating automatic responses that align with abundance rather than scarcity. During the first 30 days, you'll notice resistance and old patterns trying to reassert themselves. By day 60, you'll start making different financial decisions without conscious effort. By day 90, your new identity begins to feel natural rather than forced. The first subtraction strategy involves identifying and removing limiting money conversations from your daily life. Stop discussing how expensive things are, how hard money is to make, or how unfair the economy is. These conversations reinforce scarcity programming every time you engage in them. Second, eliminate scarcity-based decision-making by asking yourself whether each financial choice comes from fear or strategy. Third, disappear from environments that reinforce financial limitations, including social gatherings where complaining about money is the primary bonding activity. Reprogramming neural pathways to automatically attract financial opportunities requires identity-based habit changes rather than goal-based actions. Instead of setting a goal to make more money, start acting like someone who already has abundant financial resources. This means making decisions based on value rather than price, investing in your growth before you feel ready, and responding to opportunities with curiosity rather than fear. Warning signs that your old poverty mindset is trying to reassert itself include sudden anxiety about spending money on growth opportunities, finding excuses to avoid networking events, or returning to conversations about financial struggle. These patterns emerge when your identity homeostasis detects the threat of change. Create new neural pathways by acting from your future wealthy identity rather than your current financial circumstances. When facing decisions, ask yourself how someone with your desired financial identity would respond. Then make that choice, even if it feels uncomfortable. Strategic disappearance means removing yourself from situations, conversations, and thought patterns that reinforce financial struggle. This includes unfollowing social media accounts that promote victim mentality, avoiding news about economic problems, and declining invitations to activities centered around complaining about money. When your identity aligns with wealth creation, opportunities begin appearing everywhere because your reticular activating system starts filtering for abundance rather than scarcity. True financial transformation happens when you stop trying to fix your money problems and start becoming the type of person who doesn't have money problems. This identity reset isn't just about changing your bank account, it's about fundamentally changing who you are. Your poverty mindset isn't a character flaw. It's a learned pattern that can be unlearned through strategic identity work. Every limiting belief you carry about money was programmed into your neural pathways through repetition and emotional intensity. The same process that created these patterns can eliminate them. This week, identify one limiting belief about money you're ready to subtract from your identity. Maybe it's wealthy people are greedy or money is hard to make. Notice when this belief surfaces in your thoughts and conversations, then consciously choose a different response. The person you'll become through this transformation will look back at your current financial struggles as the catalyst that force you to discover who you really are.